to try it again. Hopefully this one works out better to where you're actually able to see what I'm wanting to show you on the screen. As excited as those of you who tuned in were to just, see my face, I'm sure that you were wanting to actually see what I was talking about. So why don't we give this a second shot? Those of you who already listened to this, tuned in, I apologize. You're going to hear the same things twice, but hopefully everything will work out and we'll be able to use this going forward. I didn't get a chance to listen to the last live stream that I did, but hopefully the audio turned out okay and the video turned out okay. It was just my face, so how bad can it get messed up? So anyway, welcome back. We are here after spring break. I hope everyone had a healthy and safe spring break. I'm sure it wasn't exactly what you all were expecting, but we're just gonna try and move forward here as best we can now that we are back in school doing our e-learning. So those of you again who tuned in, I apologize, but I already explained that we're going to try and do things as close to as though you're really in my class as we can for the time being. So hopefully this live stream will go better than the first one, and this is something we'll be able to do moving forward. It'll be to where I'll eventually get my second computer up and going, and I'll be able to see the comments in real time to where I'll be able to communicate with all of you in the moment, and then you'll be able to ask questions and give me feedback and things like that. So for now, this is what we're going to try. We'll move forward. If we have to do something else, we'll try something else. But please, all of you did such a great job that week before spring break, getting all your stuff turned in. There were days, out of the 51 eighth grade students, I think that we averaged having like 45 or 46 people fill out those attendance forms and get their stuff in. And that was really great to see, especially because I knew there'd be some people on vacation, wouldn't be able to get everything done. So to see that number of people participating was awesome. And I just hope that, I know you've taken a week off now, that you can get back on, because like I said, we're going to try and make this as close to the real thing and as valuable for you as possible. I don't want to just give you fluff assignments and just things to do because we're e-learning. We're going to try and move forward with exactly, what we would normally be doing if you were in class with me. So, but yeah, hopefully this will work out. We'll be able to move forward because, I don't know how many of you saw, but President Trump yesterday came out and said now that the social distancing should be in place until the end of April. So I'm sure that the state of Illinois will come out with an announcement at some point. I'm not saying that that's when we'll be out. I'm just saying, stay tuned for updates, and I'll make sure to pass those on as soon as I get them to all of you. So we might be looking at longer than we expect with this e-learning. And so I'm hoping that these live streams will be a good opportunity, a good learning opportunity for all of you, and something that will keep all that great growth that we were doing before spring break moving ahead into the rest of the year. All right, so I don't know if I can see my stream. Oh, it looks like it might actually be working, that you can see the screen, so that's good. Like I said, hopefully the audio and video are coming through, but really as long as you can see the screen, you don't need to see my face. You've seen it over 100 times as it is. But yeah, so why don't we start here with our Google form that I sent out for attendance today. 3 parts of it. I can see that some of you have already responded. But the first part is our journal topic, which actually I will jump over here to the journal slide itself to show you what the journal prompt is for today. And I'll zoom out a little bit just to make sure that, because I know my face will be down there in the corner, so just to make sure that everybody can see the whole prompt. So the prompt is, if you could put yourself into the top 1% of society in any of these three categories, which one would it be? So in other words, you're going to be the best of the best in one of these three areas. Which one are you going for? Money, intelligence, or work ethic, and why? So I'll just start by saying that last week when we were doing our journal prompts, some people did a really nice job giving those full, well thought out responses that are supported by detail and things like that. Other people kind of got in the habit of just giving short one sentence or sometimes not even a full sentence answers. Now that especially we're going to be doing journals like this for the foreseeable future, you want to make sure that you're giving that thought, that full explanation in your responses. So money, obviously you're going to be extraordinarily wealthy. We're talking in the high millions of dollars to where you'd be able to buy pretty much anything you'd want. Intelligence, we're talking like super genius level. And then work ethic, obviously very, very hard worker. So you get to pick one of those three. Which one are you going to go for and why? And just like any of these journals that we have where there's a choice, I would say try to stay away from giving the, how am I going to outsmart the journal and be able to somehow get all three. So in other words, well, if I'm really smart, I could go on a game show and then win a bunch of money and then I'd have both money and intelligence. And so, well, maybe that's true, but for the sake of the spirit of the journal, let's just stick to one of the three. So I gave some things to think about, which is what would you do with the option that you chose? So what are you going to buy with all that money? Are you going to actually buy things? Are you going to donate to charity? Are you going to save it? Are you going to, start your own college, buy your own island, buy a $40 million home? Like what are you thinking about doing with all that money? Intelligence, you got that super strong brain. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to create? Are you going to teach? Are you going to try and invent something? Are you going to dedicate your life to science, to writing, to mathematics? What are you going to do with it? And then finally, work ethic. What is the calling to which you're going to put that work ethic? So, what are you going to make your life's work? And then, you can also think about what do people who already are in this top 1% do with their money, their intelligence, their work ethic. You can think of examples that you know of or examples from history and what they've done and use that to inspire your choice with this as well. And then finally, why wouldn't you want to be at the top of one of the other options? So for example, if you chose, I want to be in the top 1% in terms of wealth, why did you choose that over intelligence or over work ethic? So just give your explanation on why you think that money or intelligence or work ethic is more important than the other two, or why it would be more meaningful to you. So for me personally, if I had to pick one of these three, I would go with work ethic. I think that, money, while it would be great, is not something that you necessarily need to have a great life. And I mean, there are a lot of great causes that I can think of wanting to put money towards, but I think that there are also a lot of dangers in having that much wealth. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm sure all of you can think of examples of people who have had a lot of money and have either, not done constructive things with it or have let that make them into a less than admirable person, we'll say. So yeah, and then intelligence, again, I have nothing against intelligence. Being smart is great. There are so many things that people have done with their intelligence that have made this world a better place. But I can also think of examples of people who have let their intelligence, either they haven't used it to its fullest extent or they have not applied it in a way that was necessarily constructive. So I would just go with work ethic because I can think of examples of students that I've had, of things that people have created where they weren't necessarily the brightest, they weren't the richest, but they had that great work ethic and that unwillingness to give in, to quit. And so they were able to make a major impact on the world just by having that work ethic, that dedication to seeing whatever their project was all the way through to the end. So those are just some things that you can think about while you are answering your journal. These are going to count for a score, so just make sure that every day when you're filling out your journal as part of the attendance form here, that you are giving it your full description, full reasoning, everything like that. All right, so then part 2 of what I'm going to ask you to do today is Genius Hour. Yes, it is finally time for our second Genius Hour project. I know some of you have been asking about this since the end of the first Genius Hour project. I know we waited a little bit longer, but I think the Genius Hour actually will be a project that really lends itself to something that you all can do a great job on while we're doing our e-learning, because it's research-based, which you all will be able to do on your Chromebooks. It is something that you're interested in, which hopefully will keep you engaged while you're at home and not actually in school. And it's just, something that allows for creativity and something that you get to choose, and also something that you can fill into extra time that you have. Not that I'm saying that any of you are going to want to fill in the extra time that you have with language arts things and with doing schoolwork, but just in case maybe you will. I feel like Genius Hour would be better for that than some of the other things we could be doing. So I sent out the Genius Hour planning sheet, the introduction sheet, which is here. You all have seen this before, so I'm not going to take you through everything, but everyone did get their own copy of this, which you can fill out in Google Classroom as part of your planning for the project. So just a couple highlights I want to make on this. The 3 rules of Genius Hour. Number 1 is that your project has to involve research. So don't pick something that you can find out in 10 minutes looking through Google. Make sure that your topic is something that's deep, that's interesting. Or if you come up with your topic or your question and you realize it's not something, don't just give up. We can tweak your question to make it something that you can research, something that's more in-depth. So within really any topic that you come up with, we can find a way to make it yours. But once you figure out your essential question, which we'll talk more about in a minute or so, I'll be able to give you feedback, and we can make sure that everyone is moving forward with a Genius Hour topic that they are interested in. So it has to involve research. You have to create something. Every project has to include a form of visual aid. This could be a set of Google Slides. This could be like a poster you're creating, a demonstration that you're giving, things like that. You have a lot of visual aid possibilities, which I've listed below on the second part of the sheet. So you can pick the one that's most intriguing to you. And please don't hesitate to try and be creative, to try and move outside of just doing regular old Google Slides, because a lot of the most interesting projects I've had have been ones that have moved beyond just the normal, typical slides presentation. And then finally, you have to present something. As of right now, hopefully we will be back in class where you'll actually get to give your presentations, because I always really enjoy seeing these presentations every year. But we can't really say right now if it's something to where we aren't going to be able to get together to give your presentations. We might use something like Flipgrid, or just using the cameras here on your Chromebooks, or doing some kind of screencasting to where you'll be able to give your presentations and share them with your classmates, so that everybody can take part in learning about everybody else's passion projects. So those are the 3 requirements for Genius Hour. So let's come down here with getting started. These first 2 steps are the ones that I'm asking you to do today. And then moving forward, we'll have built-in time in our e-learning schedule for you to be working on your Genius Hour. So please, please, please don't skip days working on your Genius Hour. On Friday, if we say it's Genius Hour day, spend 45 minutes to an hour working on your project, please don't take that as an invitation to watch 45 minutes to an hour of Netflix or play video games or anything like that. Because, let's say we come back partway through April and now we only have 5 weeks left in the school year. You're still going to be expected to give your Genius Hour project as though you had this entire time working on it. So just make sure you're keeping up with that. We didn't really have too many issues with that the first time around, but I know that being at home, it's very easy to want to, stay in bed, lay on the couch, hang out, whatever, not get any work done. But just, make sure you're staying on top of this because it's a project that you're going to be asked to present. So anyway, so your Genius Hour project, you're answering an essential question. This is the question that you're explaining to your class, that you're researching. So those of you who do know what you want your topic to be already, that's awesome. I know some of you have already expressed to me that you know what you want to do, that you're interested in. That's great. If you're still feeling that way, just go ahead and move forward. If you're one of those people who's not sure what you want to do your Genius Hour on, take a few minutes, brainstorm topics that you're interested in, and then hopefully that will lead you to thinking of something that you would want to do your Genius Hour project on. If not, shoot me an email or in your Google form. Just, fill out, these are some of the topics that I'm interested in. Can you help me think of an essential question? And I will do my best to try and help you come up with something that would be interesting. So then once you've kind of settled on your topic, remember that you're creating an essential question. So you're not actually doing your Genius Hour project on the topic. You need to come up with that question that you're trying to answer. So that is what you'll be doing there in step 2. That's the only other step that I'm asking you to create. And that is, if we come back here to the Google form, that is actually what you're being asked to submit today as part of your attendance form, right in your essential question. So if you can come up with that, wonderful. Like I said, just type that in. And one other reminder, we'll come over here. These are the Genius Hour topics from first semester. And remember, I know I've mentioned this to some of you. I'll zoom out here a little bit because I know that my face is down there in the corner. But remember that your topic needs to be different from one that you did in first semester. It can't be directly related. So for example, if you did the first semester Genius Hour on the history of a certain sports franchise, don't just go pick a different sports franchise and do the history of that for your second semester Genius Hour. That's too similar. Try to pick something that's a little bit more separate. That's not to say you wouldn't be able to do something related to athletics, but just making your topic too similar. We want this to be something that is challenging but also interesting. So just make sure that you're picking a topic that is different than the one that you did for first hour. So if you need to pause this video to look through the topics, if you can't remember, or if you just go to Google Sheets or go to your Drive, look up the title of this because it's shared with all of you from first semester, and you can see what your topic was, and hopefully use that to inform what you choose to do for second semester. All right, so that's Genius Hour. Like I said, we'll be moving forward with it for the rest of this semester. Let me jump over here, just make sure. Does the live stream look like it's still going okay? It's moving a little slow. No, it looks like our bit rate's going a little lower. Oh no, now we've got an excellent connection, so that's good at least. Hopefully, like I said again, I apologize to those of you who tuned in the first time and weren't able to see any of the screen. Like I said, I'm learning right along with all of you. And obviously, I think I had shared the application, but it was only a certain window, but this is my first time too, and I am by no means a streaming, master on YouTube. I'm sure there are plenty of you who would be better at this than I am. But anyway, part 3 for today, the other activity I'm asking you to do is Russian Revolution, Prezi. We're starting a new unit today where we're going to be reading a story called Animal Farm, which is about exactly what it sounds like, animals on a farm. But there's obviously so much more to that story in terms of symbolism and historical meaning. And you can see here in the blurb that it is based on events that were happening in Russia from the end of World War I and into World War II, where we're going to find out the different characters are symbolic for the different actual figures in history. There are events in the novel that are just like things that happen in Russia. And so before we do that, I think it's important that you have an understanding of, or a reminder of, what happened in Russia during that time period. So I know we talked about it a little bit in social studies, both in our World War I unit and our World War II unit, but it's been a little while since we've talked about any of this. Always important to have a good foundation, just so that when we're reading the story, you'll be able to say, oh yeah, this is just like that event that we learned about on that Prezi sheet, and will help you gain a better understanding of the story, I think, as we move forward. So every one of you has shared this Google Doc here, the Russian Revolution Prezi sheet. And then there's a link here to the Prezi. There's one that I shared in Google Classroom. So you'll be able to open it up, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like and just how to use it. So there are 2 types of questions on this sheet. First one, the ones with the parentheses in bold, those are fill in the blank questions. Yes, we used to do this as an actual fill in the blank worksheet, but since we have to do it digitally, that's what's in there. So just make sure you see any of those questions, you're filling in each of the blanks. And then your short answer questions, which you all are used to, are the ones there with the response bar for you to write in. So there are 16 questions, I think, if we come down. Yep. 16 questions for you to answer. If you're not sure about your answer on one, or you couldn't find it, we will go over this tomorrow. So, please don't use that as an excuse to just wait until we go over it, which I know most of you won't. But if you don't find an answer or aren't sure if your answer is complete, you can shoot me an email, or we'll go over this tomorrow and you'll be able to check your answers then. So let's jump over here to the Prezi itself. And actually, I'm just going to go back to the beginning just to show you what it looks like when you open it up. Prezi is kind of like Google Slides, but it's a little bit more interactive. So you'll notice these arrows here at the bottom of the screen. Those will just take you through in order, and the questions are in order. So that'll probably be the easiest way, but you can fill it out however you want to. So you go ahead, click forward. It'll take you to the individual bubbles to zoom in. And so then you can see that, for example, this one says that the Russian Revolution is the name for a pair of revolutions that took place in Russia in 1917. Main goal was to overthrow the ruler, Tsar Nicholas II, and to create a new government that would empower the people under communism. So you'll be able to go through, read this information. I would say try and split your screen to where you have this and then the sheet, just so you're not clicking back and forth. But again, you can do it however you want to. But the cool thing about Prezi is if you see a picture you want to zoom in on, you just bring your mouse over it, you click on it, and it will zoom in for you. So that is a picture of Tsar Nicholas II. You can see him in his full dress. He's got his gloves. He's got an outstanding mustache there. And then if you are like, okay, I saw it, I want to zoom out, just click the button and it'll take you back to the bubble you were on. So you can just move forward. Some of the bubbles will then have these kind of smaller bubbles down here at the bottom. They are built in for you to be able to zoom in. So you'll notice that if you click again, it'll take you there. And then obviously if you want to go back, you can go back. So it's kind of an interactive form of Google Slides. And like I said, all of the questions on the Russian Revolution sheet is on here. But if you have any questions that come up while you're working, please don't hesitate to email me. And then, like I said, we'll go over this tomorrow. All right. So we'll come back here. 3 parts to your e-learning today: your journal, Genius Hour, coming up with your essential question, and then that Russian Revolution Prezi sheet. So hopefully not too much. One thing I did want to say for Genius Hour, which some of you might be wondering, which is that if you remember last time you had the opportunity to work with a partner, if you want to work with a partner again this time, you have that option. I would just caution you to take the time to decide if you're willing to run the risk of, because there's a chance that you're not going to be able to communicate with your partner outside of just email or Google Hangouts or anything like that. And I know that some of you who worked with partners last time, maybe like halfway through the quarter, 2/3 of the way, you would realize that you felt like you were pulling your weight more than your partner, or that there were things that weren't getting done, or other issues that you might have had. So that was when you were still getting to meet with your partner in class. Now you're planning on doing a project with a partner and not getting to see each other at all. So I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying really take the time to think about if you want to do that, and if you believe that you're going to be working with a partner who is going to hold up their end of the bargain and not leave you feeling like either your project's not as good as it could be, or that you're having to do extra work to make up for it. So you do have that option. And if you are going to take that option, either just shoot me an email, or here when you're filling out your Genius Hour essential question, just write in, I'm going to be working with so-and-so. Then we can move forward from there. All right. But that is where we're at right now. Like I said, tomorrow I'm hoping to have my second computer up so I can actually have the comments up to be able to interact with all of you in real time. I don't have that now, but again, this was just kind of more of an introductory day, just giving you an idea of where we're at and where we're going to be moving forward for the rest of this week. So we'll continue to have journals every day. We're not going to start a new vocab unit till next week, but those of you who are looking forward to it, be on the lookout for that. Genius Hour, which I know a lot of you have really been waiting on, and then the Prezi sheet today. Like I said, we'll go over it tomorrow, and then we'll be talking about some of the different writing styles and literary devices that are used in the book that we're going to be reading, Animal Farm. And then hopefully we'll be starting to read that story on Thursday. It's kind of what I'm thinking about. So that's just where we're at. If you have any questions, comments, just want to say hey, please do not hesitate to email me. I got a lot of emails from some of you last week. That's great. That shows me that you're all still wanting to, ask questions, stay involved, all that kind of good stuff. So I was really proud to see that. And so please don't hesitate if you want to or need to send me an email. I'll be trying to check it throughout the rest of the day. But other than that, I think that's all I really had for all of you for now. Again, I apologize to anybody who tuned in the first live stream and it didn't work out. I am praying that this one works out because I'm hoping that this is something we'll be able to use moving forward to make this as authentic a learning experience for all of you as possible. If you don't like this, or if you have other ideas, I'm open to ideas. This is something we're all going through this for the first time. If you feel like there's something else that would be better, then obviously let me know, give me your feedback, because I want to make this the best that it can be for all of you, so that you are having the best 8th grade experience possible and are ready next year to move into high school. So again, any way you want to reach out, please don't hesitate. Otherwise, have a safe and healthy day. I hope everyone's doing all right with their social distancing. No one's going too crazy. I know that it's been very different over here. Gotten to do a lot more reading than usual. Working on plenty of puzzles and getting to get caught up on all my Netflix series and things like that, like I'm sure a lot of you are, but also very much hoping that we'll be getting back to normal as soon as possible, to have all of you back in class, because, the spring break was nice, but I would much, much, much rather be in school, getting to work with all of you and actually getting to do these lessons in person. So thanks for those of you who tuned in. Again, sorry for those of you who tuned in the first time when it didn't work out. Email me any questions you have. But otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow at the original time that I had planned to live stream, which is 10 o'clock. So if you want to come watch that, ask any questions, anything like that, I will see you then. But otherwise, this has been Professor Blazek, and I will see you all tomorrow.